Greetings and welcome to this part of Let's Play Buried in Time. Alright, this is the evidence. Well, the author said the other guy was working on. So,
these stations are where the neurosynaptic polymer gel is programmed. Sort of where my DNA is coded, I suppose. Each new function is mapped independently into a glob of gel like this by stimulating synaptic pathways with the resonance probes. Each program mass is then introduced to the parent nexus where it's assimilated and becomes part of the wetware. A little like an RNA injection. Dr. Farnstein had set up a studio in the research lab where I could interface with the painting window. It was kind of important to me, things that I couldn't figure out, I just put to canvas. After the accident, I had a lot of things I wanted to work out, and the studio was just gone. I guess one day I sort of hit on the idea of using all of this raw material here. Gave me a lot of flexibility. It's a medium I'm familiar with. My own gray matter. Green matter, I suppose. I guess I like the irony, too. The artist cannibalizing himself for his art.
Alright, so what does this do? Make weird shapes, apparently. This?
The harmonic resonance control is used to introduce specific three-dimensional resonance waves into the biomass. Where the waves converge, the gel is stimulated into opening new patterns of pathways. Without inserting the probes, I suppose the sculpture would just be flooded by the resonance field. There's a chance that it might trigger an embedded response.
So basically, fiddle with this knob and hope something happens. Undefined. Just do negative response. Negative response. Negative response. Negative response. Positive response. So what did that do? Right. Get the evidence chip ready.
Okay, well, I guess that does it. You know, for so long I dreamed of getting out of here. But now that I've gotten my wish, it's kind of strange to think that I'll never be able to come back. I'm gonna miss this place. Hold me, Gage.
Sentimental idiot. Alright, let's get out. Finally out of the damn station. Interface is still being a bit buggy. Right, let's save. Just in case it crashes again. Oh. Right. Well, that's done with. Now what? Suppose I'll have to go to one of the other locations. Let's see, where do I want to go first? Chateau Galliard is probably the most interesting, to me at least. Right, so the mission briefing. Throughout his reign as King of England, Richard I battled with Philip Augustus to remain Angevin rule over territories in northern France. To oversee and defend many of these territories, Richard the Lionheart quickly erected Chateau Galliard in the Les Andelys mountains of Normandy. For years, Philip sought to restore the state of his empire. After Richard's death, he got his chance. Having been financially crippled by Richard's exploits, England could do little to hold them off. Territory after territory was retaken by Philip, though it was thought to be impregnable. Chateau Galliard capitulated to the French on the 6th of March 1204. After a brief 6 months a failed relief effort by King John is thought to have played a role in the fall of the castle. However, exactly why it succumbed so quickly is still a matter of some controversy. You are to travel to Chateau Galliard to witness the final day of the siege and to document how Philip's troops gained entry into the castle. Warning, will be a human presence in this environment. Gather footage from a safe distance and avoid being seen. Your destination coordinates have been scanned and cleared. Although we know that it isn't true. Right, so now we need to figure out what has been altered. Well, we know that a particular sword from this castle was altered, so perhaps finding that is connected to this. Finding that would help shed some light on it. Let's go. Oh frick, there's a man there. Yep, he's dead. No, he doesn't need this anymore.
The wooden roofs were covered with tin, I think to prevent being set ablaze by flaming arrows.
Well, that makes sense.
If someone should get a glimpse of us up here, in this suit we might pass as a knight, but I think we should be careful not to be seen.
Well, that goes without saying, I think. Alright. How do we get off this roof?
Those boulders were dropped on any Nimrod trying to climb the walls.
Ah, spiral staircase. I'm getting dizzy. Where does this go?
It's kind of interesting how they use the more finished stone on the outside of the walls to make the castle look more imposing, and use the rough stone on the inside. The space in between was generally filled with rubble and, oh, I don't know, annoying singing frogs in metal boxes. Sounds locked to me.
Ah! Well, that leads outside.
These wooden hoardings here, they were put up for defense before a siege to protect archers, and get this, allow the soldiers to drop big, heavy, painful things on the attackers below. Charming, isn't it? This castle really was the jewel in King Richard's crown. He once wrote about Chateau Gaillard. How beautiful is my year-old daughter. When Philip Augustus had said that he would take this castle though its walls were made of iron, King Richard retorted that he would hold it if its walls were made of butter. Then King John the Soft Sword took over. When Philip was done with this place, you could pour it on your popcorn.
Yeah.
When Philip Augustus heard about Richard's death in 1199, he set about retaking Normandy. And within 3 years, in October of 1203, he was knocking on Chateau Gaillard's door with a formidable army. John answered the door with 300 knights, 3,000 horsemen, and 4,000 foot soldiers and assorted ruffians, who tried to surprise Philip's army with a night attack. Big mistake. He wasn't counting on the new cohesion and confidence of Philip's army in the light of Richard's death. They were slaughtered.
Yeah.
These holes in the walls, or they called them arrow loops, were designed to protect archers while still giving them a wide-angle aim.
It is an impressive view. Not much to see though. That looks like a man over there. Best not to get too close. Oh, a toilet.
So a clever French knight figures out that he and a few men can get into the castle by climbing up through a toilet. So right now they must be fighting it out at the main gates. By now there will only be about 60 English soldiers remaining anyway. No wonder this place seems deserted.
Well, the grappling hook is now ours. And there's no real reason to go this way.
Ah, see that bridge to the inner bailey? This was the castle's one weakness. Under cover of the bridge, Philip Augustus's men managed to dig under the wall and collapse a section of it in what they called let me look it up, a sapping operation. When an attacker would sap a wall of the castle, they would dig a tunnel underneath the foundation supported by a wooden framework. They would then set fire to the wooden beams, and the tunnel would collapse into the wall, bringing it down.
It's very interesting information. Not really relevant to what we're doing, but still.
I hope the serfs have umbrellas. Ah, the classic garderer. Simplicity at its finest.
Actually, this might be a good time to save. Simply because I want to demonstrate something.
We seem to be getting closer to where that catapult is hitting, and I'd be willing to bet their aim isn't getting worse.
Well, the best way to deal with that would be to slide off this roof onto the floor. Let's see what he has.
Want to know what made this castle such a unique piece of military architecture? King Richard's design for the keep and inner bailey. Look, see those rib-like structures ringing the top of the keep? They were designed to funnel drop projectiles down to the skirt-like plinth at the bottom, which bounced the stones in kind of a fan-shaped trajectory. This way there was nowhere that the attackers could approach the castle without being vulnerable.
Right, let's find out what is this way. Whoa! A spear rack. I do like these graphics. Anyway, let's restore the game. I'd like to think that just before
we seem to be getting closer to where that catapult is hitting, and I'd be willing to bet their aim isn't getting worse.
I'd like to think that just before a death, you actually hit the recall button and you jump back to the start. And there's another person over there.
Missed me by that much.
Indeed. You can actually get hit by that if you're too fast. But this leaves us with a way down. A door.
The incredible sharpening wheel, the latest in lightweight stone technology. It spins, it sparks, it sharpens your knives. It's absolutely free with your 6-piece set of Ginsu broadswords.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to sharpen. Ooh, a hammer, always useful. And I don't think they will miss it. That was too close.
Hey, now there's a nasty looking rig. The blacksmith would use something like that to hold cows and horses still for shoeing. No doubt some of them enjoyed it too, I mean. Still, there's nothing more disturbing than a cow into bondage.
Yeah.
This is an old wood-burning forge, which blacksmiths at the time used to heat up and soften raw iron, which they would then hammer to create rod or forged tools and weapons. This fire can only get up to about 1300 degrees Celsius. Stop me if I'm getting too technical. So they would be limited to casting softer metals such as bronze, copper, or gold.
Popping the bellows draws air through the coals, stoking the fire. Try it, you weakling.
Alright, so we can stoke the fire a bit. That doesn't really help us here, because we don't have any iron to stoke.
Well, it's
obviously a mold for a key. But why would he have hidden it under a brick?
Yeah, why indeed? Probably a secret key to something he actually wasn't supposed to have access to. Maybe. Anyway, we're done in this shop.
Buildings in this time were built of a half-timber framework with gaps filled with wattle and daub. God, I hate English food. Anyway, basically a mat of woven reeds covered with mud and clay.
Very interesting. What's this way? Oh, ye olde knights fighting. I'm not really going anywhere. Anyway, we're not going that way. Let's see. There's nothing here. Alright, this way it is then. Ooh, temporal anachronism detected within immediate vicinity. Use evidence chip to locate. So let's do that. So we now have the locate tool, which will change if it sees anything that doesn't belong. Oh, this is it. What is that? Let's review it. Footprint inappropriate for this era. Must be of the patented 3353 sneakers. Anyway. Well, since we were just in space, I'm assuming this suit is waterproof. Although I wouldn't call this water by the looks of it.
That's either a very dirty moat or a very clean sewer.
Yeah. That's actually kind of neat. Well, we're not going left. Alright. So we must be going up then. Well, for that we have our handy grappling hook. And he hits.
Hello, Joseph! Shaka, fool! 'Tis all for naught! It shall not claim this tour!
Fools. You shall not stop me, but I shall prepare.
Quick! He's in the king's chamber!
And you will never find me.
Quick! He's in the king's chamber! Alas! He escaped us! He must not wretched the goddess!
Yeah, that was an easy enough puzzle to solve. I'm guessing in ye olde English they think I'm heading for the gate.
Tapestries were used a lot as wall coverings to warm up rooms. The illustrations usually depicted historical moments such as great battles or biblical scenes. Well, that is actually a pretty nice depiction of a castle under siege. Guess another good example of life imitating art, wouldn't you say? Except for the 20-foot knights, of course. You gotta tell him! You gotta tell him!
soylent gruel is made out of people.
What lovely candelabras. I wish my brother George was here.
Oh, I can't believe this. I don't know how many times I told the movers the bedspread should be done in taupe.
Hey, nice chest.
Aw. Of course it's locked. How about this thing then?
I think we're gonna have to look elsewhere for a key.
Right. Is there anywhere else in this room we can go?
Those seats built in the window were usually the only furniture in a tower. Furniture was rare, or reserved for the aristocracy, like our king here. In fact, if you did have furniture, it was generally a flat chest that doubled as a bench.
Alright, let's... Oh, darn. Up or down? Up or down? Not files, interface. Alright. That's it for this episode. I will see you all next time.